back the microphone, so they say everything that they want. Give the people back the microphone, so they tell it as it is. Express what you want to say right now.
What is happening, guys? We are back with another Hot Mic episode. I'm Suni, and these are my buddies, Easy, and the middleman, Casey. Everybody knows Casey. I'm doing this show because I had a gotcha moment. Like, gotcha, I told you so, right? As soon as I saw this, I'm telling you, what time is it here? It's 8:21. I sat all the way up in my bed, guys. And I was like, what? You said what? No, you didn't. Do you guys remember, probably back in May and April, when Caitlyn, I'm going to refer to him as Caitlyn, but his pronouns will not be her. Just giving you a heads up now. Caitlyn Jenner announces his run for the governorship in California. And I'm like, guys, this dude's a tool. All he's going to do is push LGBT, trans, gender dysphoria. He's going to push this stuff and he's going to normalize it like this is common. We need to accept everybody. Do you guys not remember that? I know you guys do. You remember how much flack I caught for it?
Lots.
Why are you judging people?
It's not your place, Suni. You don't judge.
What do you know? He's conservative. He has conservative values. Does he not? Yeah. Well, what do you guys think? Before I play the videos and before I get into all, we call them receipts and over here in the Black community, but what do you guys think?
You go, Eric.
I think it's one of the most preposterous notions that we've ever had. Like, I'm living in the state of California, and I can tell you right now, people don't want this person as their governor, as their leader. I think it stands and represents for a community that is relatively small, and most people who are looking at the political landscape right now are looking for a leader based on common values, and this is not a person who shares a lot of common values with the conservative movement from a social aspect. They may from a financial and from a fiscal standpoint, but on a moral end, it is incredibly hard to disseminate the differences between what they want as an individual and what they need as a community. And they can't, unfortunately, decipher, I think, the needs.
100%. The thing that look at, and my thing with this person, because I struggle saying he, she, I really do. I don't like it. When it comes to this, I look at it as a Trojan horse. And that's how I see it right now, is they're taking advantage of the opportunity of the current climate in America right now to where everybody is supporting this group of people. And I say everybody with a grain of salt. Like, I'm not saying you guys, I'm not saying everybody on this panel, but a bunch of the blind Americans are going to be like, oh yeah, this person's going to, they're American. They're Republican. They're going to come back and save our state. No. There's plenty of things to be like, pump the brakes, chill out. I need you to give me more details before you get my vote. And no one's doing
that. Bingo. Do you know what people said? Well, you didn't know anything about Trump. Excuse me. Trump was a man, and he recognized he had balls and a penis. That was enough for me. But he also ran a multi-billion business. Just saying. Okay. I'm going to play a few videos. I'm going to go back in time. I'm going to go all the way back to May where I was catching all this flack, but people are asking about Cash. We did an episode specifically geared towards Cash and what he's got going on. If you want to see that episode, you can go to Streetlight's Unity page. Go check it out. It's honestly, it's kind of hard to give an update every time we get on here because there's nothing new going on. All right. Nothing new. And I wish I had more information to give you guys, but I don't. We're waiting on the appeal process. Cash is not in jail for the 6th. He's in jail for what we all know, which is a violation of probation. Keep him in your prayers. I do talk to him often. He's doing good. He hasn't voiced anything to me that he's upset about. For the most part, he's just in the situation that he's in, doing the best that he can. So I know people are asking, and we love to go live on Cash's YouTube to keep it active. So please make sure you support. Hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up on Facebook, and hit the notification bell so that you never miss a chance to hear. Maybe we might be bringing an update. Just don't miss it. So thank you for being here today. Cash appreciates it. Street Lights Unity, and all of us at Be the Change appreciate it too. 100%. But before we get started, I'm going to play Caitlyn Jenner's original campaign video. I'm not playing the whole thing. You're not getting the whole 3 minutes out of me, bro. Sorry.
No thanks.
Can you guys hear it?
Okay. She did it right.
You can't hear it?
I've always been.
No, I said you did it right.
California was once the envy of the world. We had what everyone else wanted. The American dream grew up here. Yet career politicians and their policies have destroyed that dream. It's been locked away, closed, shuttered, left in the dark, burned down. The government is now involved in every part of our lives. They've taken our money, our jobs, and our freedom. California needs a disruptor, a compassionate disruptor. I came here with a dream 48 years ago to be the greatest athlete in the world. Now I enter a different kind of race, arguably my most important one yet, to save California. I want to carry the torch for the parents who had to balance work and their child's education, for business owners who were forced to shut down, for pastors who were not able to be with their congregation, for the family who lost their home in a fire, for an entire generation of students who lost a year of education. This past year has redefined our career politicians as elitists and the people of California as the warriors, the kings, and the angels. We never take kindly to glass ceilings here. Instead, we shatter them. This one's way out there. We're the trailblazers, the innovators. California is facing big hurdles. Now we need leaders who are unafraid to leap to new heights.
All right, we've had enough of this mental illness for one day. You're a man. I mean, you're a woman, but you're showing videos of yourself as a man running in the Olympics. You said, now did you guys keep track? I want to represent the parents, the small business owners, citizens of California. We don't want taxes. Politicians are controlling our lives. You guys heard all that, right? I'm not crazy. The audience, you're not crazy either. Check out what Mr. Jenner said when he took his ass to Fox News. And I am shocked that Tuckerson, I call him Tuckerson. His name is just too hard. It's a tongue twister. His Tuckerson to me. Tuckerson didn't press him on a GD thing. Nothing. And he did not stand firm on his female athlete stance. He flip-flopped on that. We did another show on that. If you didn't catch it, go back. You can go back to my YouTube. I think we even did that show on Cash's YouTube. You go back and watch it. This guy's fake as Finnuck.
My loyalties do not lie with Donald Trump. My loyalty do not lie.
What the freak? Can you guys hear that?
I'd rather not see his face move anyways. We heard
Wait a minute. I said this to my husband this morning. Uh-oh. Darn it.
no audio.
I don't know why it's stopping right there.
Yes.
Yo, this is nothing but the devil. Why wouldn't you let me tell the people what happened? That's what Christians do. When something doesn't go their way, sometimes we're like, this ain't nothing but the devil. Let me stop playing.
Oh shoot.
For people get upset. Okay, let me go to Instagram. Oh,
Yeah, yes. Who said it? Yes, they do have the same rights as us. Absolutely.
who said that?
Somebody in the comment section. Let me see. I'm gonna try and find.
Oh,
Don't they have the same rights as us? I said.
exactly.
Yes,
So
they
what-
do have the same rights as us.
That's
Absolutely.
exactly what I asked with these weirdos that did the San Francisco, the men's choir. You want to take our rights? You got the same rights I got. What are you talking about? Okay, here we go.
My loyalties do not lie with Donald Trump. My loyalties do not lie with the Republican Party. My loyalties and what I'm fighting for is my community, the LGBT community, and particularly the trans issues that are out there, because there are many of them. And so that's where my fight is. And I thought Trump would be pretty good, but he's kind of disappointed me in the first 100 days.
Do you need me? Okay, I'm gonna run it back.
Loyalties do not lie with Donald Trump. My loyalties do not lie with the Republican Party. My loyalties and what I'm fighting for is my community, the LGBT community, and particularly the trans issues that are out there, because there are many of them.
Okay, so for everybody that was in my comment section, everybody that wanted to call me a bigot, why are you being mean? He's conservative. I'm slapping you in the face with facts, okay? And I'm doing this because I love you. I love Americans. I want Americans to wake up and think again. Because somebody puts an R behind their name or somebody says they're conservative does not mean that they have the same values as you. It takes more investigation. It takes actually doing your due diligence to see that these people are full of shit. He flat out said it, bro. Flat out. I'm loyal to my community. Did I not say he's going to push the LGBTQ? He's gonna push gender dysphoria. He's gonna push trans issues. I said this, man. I'm telling you, I'm almost tired of being right.
Well, and we pointed out, he admitted, I gotta stop, admitted they're not mentally straight.
Yes.
And they are not mentally, and straight is the wrong term because everybody's going to be like, oh, yeah, he's whatever. Mentally right. They admitted that mentally they have some problems that they need to work out. Why do you want this person running your country? Why? Like, not country, state. Why? Why would you want it running your state?
I don't. I'm in California, so everybody that's, is this good for California? It's not good for California. California already suffers tremendously with mental illness. We'll steer away from calling this specifically what it is, although the DSM specifies it as mental illness. I'll kind of steer clear of that conversation for sake of sanity, which is to say, if we have somebody who is running on basically one position and agenda, you can count that will be the forefront and actively is so for their life. If you were first a business person, second a community based organizer, and third, you're as far as you identify yourself, then I can see more of a clear pathway. But this person specifically, everything they do, everything they community do, everything they do politically has something to do with the trans or gay community. And at some point, people have to stop. They have to look themselves in the mirror and say, does this person actually have my integrity in their pocket, and say, are they going to follow through on the things that I need them to as a citizen? As a California person right now, I can tell you that I don't see this person as a business person. I've never seen them run a successful business by themselves. I know that, the matriarchy is pretty strong in the Kardashian line, and all of the Jenner business also is akin to that. So, when we talk about this issue as if for a governor of the state of California, we really do have to think about it as the world's 5th largest economy. It is as far as a size go, large place to govern. There is a tremendous amount of diversity, but we have a tremendous issue with mental illness. And it is the number one issue, in my opinion, that plagues the streets of LA, of all of the southern portion of the state, particularly. And I don't see how a mentally a person who is mentally not in touch with their genetic sequencing can be in touch with we the people's desires.
And listen. I put this comment up for a reason. It's not to embarrass you and it's not to call you out. It's literally I'm begging. At this point, I'm begging Americans to stop. Stop trying to find a loophole. Stop trying to make excuses. He said it. I don't care if this was just for votes or not. If you are trying to be the people's governor of Cali, he would have never got on this TV show and said what he said. He knows this is a national news organization. We're talking about Tucker Carlson here. Not some small rinky-dink news show that's not going to get the light of day. This is Tucker Carlson. I have to play this again.
No audio.
Really? Fuck. It's all right. It's all right. I did it wrong. Come on, bro.
My loyalties do not lie with Donald Trump. My loyalties do not lie with the Republican Party. Right. My loyalties and what I'm fighting for is my community, the LGBT community, and particularly the trans issues that are out there, because there are many of them. And so
I don't know what more people need, but this should be enough for Americans in California to say, you're done. You said all we needed to hear.
Can you pull up that comment again, please?
Which one? Oh yeah, let me go back
the one you just had.
Let me go back.
So, because I want to talk about it. Like, it's not to blast anybody.
Not at all.
But we got to look at this from what do we, for example, you want to go back to Tom McDonald's Snowflake song. A politician lying, when they just lie, they're just considered a politician. But if we were to lie, we go to jail.
Yeah.
What you are accepting here is, just because they're trying to be a politician, they can try to manipulate people to get votes. You should not accept that. You should want people to be true and honest and not say the right thing to get votes. You should be supporting the people that you want to put in office that will do the right thing, that will not manipulate to get votes. That is the problem. I understand everybody wants to say, well, that's how you have to play the game. No, you don't. You can actually do it honestly. And part of that, and this is coming from me, Trump kind of did that. If you want to go back and look at what he did, he was just him. He got votes. So if people actually could be themselves and you support those people, those are who you need to put in office.
Listen, that is pure bigotry. What? This is a post that I put up. I said, how is any man comfortable saying they're voting for Bruce Jenner? He's a quote unquote woman, but still talks like a full grown man. That was one of the first things my husband said. He was cracking up and he was like, why does he still sound like a dude? Because he's a dude. I don't know, baby. But people get in their feelings. I'm showing this because I want you to see when you call things out. And I'm not even going to call myself a victim. I have been the, what should I call myself? The punching bag for conservatives when you say something they don't want to hear. If you go look at my comment section, all right? I did the same thing this morning. I asked guys, what's one thing you don't like about Trump and his administration? I got a whole lot of people to answer the question, and then you got some people in there that are like, oh, I love it. I didn't even respond. I was going to, but I didn't even respond. The point I'm making is when you talk about something that makes people uncomfortable, they're latching on to any and everything to make them feel better. It's just feelings at this point. People lash out, but the truth don't care about your damn feelings. The truth doesn't care. Look, I've been going at this since April. It is July.
The psycho part for me is okay. I just typed this in because again, I like to work on facts, not feelings, and so I wanted to kind of have this straight. But the DSM-5, which is the most current one that we have right now, which is basically the diagnostic journal for everything we know as medicine, right? Indicates that the prevalence of gender dysphoria, which is what transgenderism falls under as far as a mental illness, falls under the category of 0.005. So 5/1000ths to 14/100ths of a percent. And most of them are adult males, whereas females, on the other hand, are only doing this at a rate of 2/10,000ths and 3/10,000ths of a percent. And the issue that I have with it is that it's, again, according to psychiatrists, as of the most recent version of diagnostic medical information that we have, still classifies this as gender dysphoria. Well, people get frustrated when I bring this up particularly, and that's something I've seen in some of those comments occasionally. The reason that I bring this up so often is because just because somebody is able to transition from male to female or vice versa does not mean that they have cured their illness. And my concern is that people have taken, well, transsexual is not a gender dysphoria issue, it's a sexual orientation issue. And in fact, these are very different things. Being a homosexual is not considered a gender dysphoria anymore. It's considered a sexual deviance. And they are fundamentally very different things. And for me, it's important to remember when we're looking for candidates for governorship that we are accurately able to assess the individual's readiness for office. So I don't bring this up to knock that person if this is what they've decided with their psychiatrist is ultimately their best course of treatment. You're not going to hear from me about it, but you're not also going to get me to elevate and prop that position up. I won't do it. It's like me saying a suicidal maniac should run the streets and be the head of police. It doesn't, there is some overlap. And it doesn't make sense to allow an individual who isn't able to control their own life, control the lives of 44 million people.
I feel vindicated. I'm not even going to lie. So honestly, when things like this happen, you know, I'm one of those people, and you guys know me. I look at things, if something happens, I'm like, okay, how's this going to affect us 2-3 months, a year from now? What's going to happen? What does he have going on? What are his core values? What are his beliefs? He didn't have a website until he got the national stage. I just want people to know that. All of his campaign videos encompass pro-American, America first ideals. When you get him alone and you press him on stuff, it is solely trans and gay issues. Go look at his track record. Look at his campaign videos and then go look at all his interviews. He does not talk about America as a whole or Cali as a whole. He talks about his community, period, point blank. So again, just because somebody has conservative in front or behind their name, just because somebody says, hey, I'm a Republican, does not mean that they're your friend. It does not mean that they have your best interest at heart. He's a tool. The LGBTQ community is a vehicle for the Democrat Party, okay, to get in, push this nonsense, this immoral behavior that they have going on. You have San Francisco saying we're going to transition your kids, which is an absolute threat. It's a threat. People are saying, "Oh, it was just a joke." Joke my ass. How would you feel if I told gay people, "I'm going to put you back into conversion camps. Let's go back to praying the gay away"? You know how many Christians will be attacked? You know how many times we be called a bigot? But these MFers get a pass, and I'm tired of it. I'm so tired of it. But I want to know what you guys think. I'm just going to show some of these comments when I was going heavy at this, and I want you guys' honest opinion, because I was kind of like the only one that was like, "This is bananas. Oh no, we're not doing this." How'd you guys feel?
So with this, like, of course, we all know I'm not a fan of him or this person, individual, in general. I got to look up and see if this is some type of record or astronomical number. They're potentially like looking at a huge number of candidates going to be on this ballot.
Yes.
And this person, Mr. Jenner, is taking up all of the media attention for California. No other real candidate is actually getting the attention. And this is what I said when we did the show before. Why is this person getting all of the attention when there are plenty of others? I know Major Williams has a history that people are questioning. That's okay. But he gets no credit. There's plenty of other candidates that are running against Gavin Newsom to try to take this seat. But Caitlyn Jenner is getting all of the attention when it is most likely the candidate that you should not be electing. And they are getting everything. And so what this is doing is setting the stage to give it back to Gavin Newsom.
Facts. I agree with you.
I think it's, I think there's actually a reason for that. I think, I've kind of touched on this a little bit before, and I'm still undecided on whether these are accurate things to portray or not. But, we have to stop looking at Fox News as this conservative outlet that's leading people down the conservative road. Ultimately, they're in the business of ratings. And so if Caitlyn Jenner's popular, they're going to have Caitlyn Jenner on their shows. Yes. My concern is that it's actually it's a rudderless ship in essence, right? Which is where they claim to speak for the conservative, but ultimately are speaking just for ratings. And I think that most of the middle ground people in our country actually watch Fox News, and they bounce it off of CNN and other outlets to kind of decipher the truth, right? And I proposed this kind of in an IG live with Suni, which is what if Fox News is telling lies just like everybody else? What if it's verifiably false and bullshit what they're saying? Are people going to realize that on their own, or are they going to continue to follow a mainstream narrative? And my concern right now is in California, we have like 85 candidates who have filed gubernatorial election paperwork at this point. And I could be wrong. So somebody absolutely can correct me in the comments if that's the case. But my understanding is that one of the replacement candidates has to receive 50% or better of the state election in order to win it from Newsom. So it's not like this, well, he's up for election because of the recall and automatically will be recalled. It has to hit certain thresholds in order to become a reality. My concern is that this focus on Caitlyn steers the base of the conservative movement in California in a progressive direction, which I've used this word before. Progressive doesn't have anything to do with progress. It has everything to do with division. And my concern is that Fox News has propped this person up as the only legitimate candidate.
Yes.
And what we're going to have is a whole bunch of other people who have grassroots movements pulling votes from the conservative end, whichever candidate it may be. And ultimately, they're only going to run Newsom. They didn't even plan for a backup candidate on the Democratic side because they know Republicans will pull their own hair out over this issue. So, in my opinion, this is a great disinformation campaign. And I think that Fox News has picked up because they think there's a legitimate opportunity to make ratings and get in the public eye as being good with this community. And my point is simply this, is that it's such a small portion of the world that nobody should be out there playing and kowtowing to their base on LGBTQ issues. Like, that shouldn't even be a discussion anymore. The Supreme Court has ruled they have the same rights as you and I. There should be no more discussion. But this is where that progressive label comes in and applies, which is they still want to talk about it every day. It's all they have in their book of tricks, is where they're going to call you a racist, a homophobe, a transphobe, or something that we can attach a label to you to make you look and feel bad for a few minutes.
Yeah.
I don't see anything but a divisive label. I see a person who can't govern correctly. They're being propped up by media as basically the conservative end's solution to their values. And I'm not okay with giving up my values for a vote for somebody that might fiscally be more conservative. And that's the only thing I can attach to.
Yeah. Well, and to echo a little bit of what you're talking about on Fox News, in my opinion, I really like what Ivory Hecker has done from Fox out of Houston, coming out and speaking out and just doing it. So Fox News was the biggest sponsor of CPAC in Dallas. In some areas, when she got up on stage to speak, her feed was cut as soon as she got on stage to speak. And so that is showing you Fox News even is questionable in a lot of places.
Mm-hmm.
This is where we keep saying, don't blindly follow. Like, we didn't say those exact words. I've said it a couple times, but blindly following just because it's a news agency, even if it's Newsmax, OAN, do not blindly follow.
Facts. The person I'm more interested in talking to about this is Russo.
Oh, geez.
I really am. And I would even challenge Russo all the time.
Sure.
But I would be open to a debate.
Sure.
Because I've said this publicly to Russo, so it's not like he doesn't know this.
No,
and he's probably watching. I think he's too soft on things. I really do. I think the accepting of everybody is the problem. It's how we got in this situation to begin with. We don't want to tell people no. We don't want to say, bruh, take that shit over there, bro. I don't care what you got going on, but take that over there. I shouldn't have to explain to my children why grown men walk around in heels and makeup. Sorry. And you know what? I don't want a transgender around my kid ever in life. I should be able to say that without being called a bigot and everything else.
The wildest part, Suni, is I think you're picking up on something that people are afraid to say out loud, which is this shit does affect my kid.
Yes.
And when you do stuff that affects my children, we have a different discussion. When it's adult time and we're doing adult things and we're in adult places and it's adults exposing each other to different things, that is a very different conversation than when adults, and I'm going to use the word expose because we have an incident. This happened, 3 weeks ago? There was a dude that claimed he was transgender who had not had reassignment surgery, who was walking around inside of a spa in front of young women. If people don't think that is an impact point and going to be trauma for these kids at some point in their life, you've been very sheltered and you should thank your parents for that. And B, you should also look at the people around you and say, okay, who do I know that may have had an interaction in a sexually uncomfortable way? And you need to treat the kids as they're dealing with this as such. Yep. We cannot sit here and call this okay. We can say, as an adult, you are allowed to make adult decisions. And if sexual reassignment surgery is a part of being an adult, go adult away.
Yep.
Don't bring that shit in my house.
Thanks, man.
Don't
real.
Put that in front of my kid.
Do you know, when I was growing up, let me see if you guys can guess this. Do you know who I was terrified of? Absolutely terrified. I'm a 90s kid. I was born in 1990. This person was on TV all the time, and I used to run to my closet or just like, pew, out of the living room to get away.
Edward Scissorhands.
Pee-wee Herman.
RuPaul. I was terrified of RuPaul.
Okay. I can
even looking at it now, because you know RuPaul's all over Netflix, RuPaul's all over Amazon now, and I'm like, if I was scared of this person as a child, okay, I'm 30. So 30 years later, now you have people like him reading stories to children. Kids they're not scared of transgenders anymore. I was scared if I saw a man dressing as a woman because it's alarming. Like, what's wrong with you? What's making you want to go dress up like that? I would run. I'm sorry.
So
I'm not intolerant of people. I'm the nicest person ever. Okay. But until you cross the threshold, like Easy said, of now you're impeding on my children's rights, you're gonna see a whole another woman come out. And we need to do more of less coddling and more straight to your face. Absolutely not. This is America. No.
It's interesting to me to see a lot of times. I think the social pressure of agreeing is really important to people, and they want to be agreeable for the most part. And I think that's part of how this has gotten to such an out of control place where all of us are saying, well, wait a second, 5-10 years ago, we were battling about the sanctity of marriage. Now we're battling about whether or not the gay choir in San Francisco can come and influence my child.
Yes.
So look at how quickly, look at how quickly this has gone from a place of acceptance to now we're going to force our lifestyle into your home. Not everybody is made the same. And I totally understand that there are going to be differences between me, you, Suni, Casey, and I. We're going to have different things that are our thing, right? And so I'm not sitting here knocking these individuals. I'm just saying it represents such a small minority of the population. How is it that they're able to get 50% of the airtime? How is it that we're representing them as though they are 90% of our country when they are literally less than 1/2 of 1%? Like as a totality, it becomes something that I think pressures people into questioning things that otherwise are not necessarily questionable. So when we look at our younger group, look how much more willing they are to have, and I'll just call it sin as a basis, which is sex outside of marriage. Well, it wasn't necessarily an unpopular thing when I was growing up. I'm sure it wasn't an unpopular thing when anybody was growing up. But now it's turned from having sex before marriage into you have to taste everything before you can know what you like.
Yep.
Well, that's a hell of a lot different of a statement than I grew up with. And it allows people, if you want to question your sexuality, fine, do that. But it doesn't mean that it becomes something that I have to advertise in my home. And that's what Gay Pride Month is about, is advertising to the world. We're so okay with you being a different than me that we're going to give you a whole month to have that space.
Yep. Listen.
And then they go and sing gay songs about wanting to take my kids, and I can't understand it.
I'm going to play just a little bit of it. You can have your rights,
but you can't have mine.
Look at his face. I don't know if everybody has seen this, but just look at the smirks on these nasty. They're disgusting, man. People like this, okay, and I actually have a lot of gay people that watch me, and there are times where they're like, thank you for speaking out. I respect everything you're saying because you have a right to be saying it. But look at how just proud.
As we celebrate Pride and the progress we've made over these past years, there's still work to be done. So to those of you out there who are still working against equal rights,
this is my question again. What equal rights don't they have?
Well,
what equal rights don't they have?
They can't go to the grocery store.
Oh.
They don't get to be able to drive cars. They can't vote. They don't have the rights we have.
This is crazy, man.
We have a message for you.
You think we're sinful?
Yep.
You fight against our rights. You say we all lead lives you can't respect. But you're just frightened. You think that we'll corrupt your kids if our agenda goes unchecked. Funny, just this once, you're correct. We'll convert your children. Happens bit by bit, quietly and subtly, and you will barely notice it. You can keep him from disco, warn about San Francisco. Make him wear pleated pants, we don't care. We'll convert your children. We'll make them tolerant and fair.
This is the question. How are you going to convert children? This is what I meant, and this I've been pushing this too. For like the last 2 weeks, there have been flyers, ages blind, pedophilia being pushed along with the LGBT gang, the alphabet crew. What does converting my children look like to these people? Oh, we'll do it subtly. We'll make them tolerant. We're going to do all these things. Yo, 2A is a hell of a thing, bro. This is what happens. You start barking up the wrong tree, there's going to be a whole lot of death coming across this country. I'm telling you right now. This is why I said what I said when I said I'm getting to the point where I do not like gay people. I'm getting to that point because we have tolerated it. We have said, yo, you do you. I don't got a problem with it. But you keep pushing. You keep moving the goalpost. You're threatening parents now. How are you going to convert my children? Did anybody else have those questions when they were watching this? Like, how, Sway?
Yes, it's definitely. I just want to say this. It's definitely important. This seems very disturbing, and I want to be very clear. What they're actually talking about in this video it is specifically creating a tolerant child. That's what they're alluding to. But how far does tolerance go? Does tolerance go to my point of, do you have to taste every flavor before you decide on what kind of ice cream you like, so to speak, right? Like, what is tolerance to these individuals? And because it's unspecified, I think it's fair to say that it's probably something we aren't necessarily comfortable with. So I just wanted to give context to that. And then if it's okay, I'm going to address really quickly. Barbara's in the comments talking about specifically freedom of marriage, freedom to have a child legally to both them and their partners. So there's a couple of things to unpack there. And I'm just going to be very quick on it, which is they have all of those rights, Barbara. There's no reason for them to need more rights than you and I. The Supreme Court has upheld the right to adopt. They have upheld the right to marry. They have upheld the rights for individual freedom. They have upheld the rights for hate crimes. So they don't. There is no rights that any group in this country can point to right now that another group has that another group does not have. There are no haves and have-nots, with the exception of the elite political class and everybody else. So
Yeah.
I just want to be clear there, because I think sometimes the argument is, well, they don't have the same rights or they haven't expressed them for the same amount of time. It doesn't matter when you acquire your rights. If you have them, you need to stop complaining about them and exercising them.
Facts, man. Facts. And just to for 1 second to tackle the end of this, where you said to have a child legally, both of them and their partners, faith-based adoption agencies have the right to tell them no.
And they do say no.
You can go to any other adoption agency. And we had a real honest conversation about this. I think we were on IG. Pretty sure we were on IG. And people were asking, do you think that gay, trans, the alphabet crew, do you think they should have access to children? Do you think they should adopt? That was a really hard question to answer. Because a lot of us are driven by our moral compass bar, more code, our foundation. That's what makes us us. And I had to straight up say no. No.
I'll add to
Because
that.
honestly,
There is
it's gonna create the environment they want of more children being tolerant. More kids may or may not lead that to that lifestyle. And I don't think that it's not natural.
So and I'll just pick up on that natural point, which is to say, if they want children, there is a biological way for them to achieve that goal. And so,
Yeah.
unless they are, um, unless they're like a eunuch, where they don't have the ability to have children, I'm always going to push back on the biology exists for a reason.
Yeah.
And we can always flout that, and I think that we have supporting resources as a community that we could probably navigate this. But I think what we're actually asking is a much more basic question, which is it morally right or not? And for me, I disagree that it's the correct thing to do. I think it creates more trauma for a kid than they're already going to experience, and as we know that the formidable years of a childhood are already difficult in this world. So adding to that by complicating the nuclear family, which is what I will always advocate for, is a very tough sell. Do they have that right? They currently do. Am I going to go out in the streets and advocate that they don't? Probably not.
No.
Because it's already pretty rare. But if it was left to me, I think I would ultimately say, well, if you have that biological desire, then you should fulfill that biological need through biological measures.
Facts.
And that leaves still a lot of room for surrogate mothers, all sorts of different things. So I just want to be clear. My stance on the issue is, personally, I morally disagree with it. But again, having affirmed through the Supreme Court that is, in fact, they're right, I'm going to go with what our Supreme Court has decided on a constitutional basis, which is they can, but I'm going to ask them to not fall into the let me raise somebody else's kid who needs a family, because there are hundreds of thousands of couples out there who want children who cannot have them. And we should first place them in a correct nuclear home before we start disseminating to them what their future sexual preferences should be.
And I'm just going to be real. I'm really tired of people saying this. You're stating the obvious. I never said all. In fact, I gave a disclaimer that I have a pretty big gay following, and they can definitely understand where I'm coming from, and they have had the same sentiments as me. If you have I got gay family members, all right? But I'm still not making excuses for this shit. We know it's not all. And we're not saying all. And you're absolutely right. They are going to get people hurt. So this is when people like you, gay people in their community, should step up and say, stop. You're not speaking for us. You're speaking for less than 1% of the population. I don't believe in this. I don't like what you're doing. And say something. Instead of, well, it's not all gay people. You're still being tolerant of utter nonsense. And people making light of it. They were totally making fun and singing it as a joke. Who's laughing? Did you laugh? Did anybody on this screen laugh? It's not funny.
Guys, we're not talking about single mothers here. This is not the place to like. Single mothers is a different issue, and there are challenges that are inherent to being a single mother, but there is still the opportunity to provide a standard nuclear family. So
there were comments
as I see those comments coming through, it's questionable.
Well, no, that's response to saying single mothers were above, like I was a single mother and blah, blah, blah. It was nothing calling out. But no, I like to Amy's comment, like Amy, here's the bigger thing is you guys everybody's so vocal on where they stand with everything else.
Yep.
But if they are not doing that, but they're not calling out their own team like we call out the Republicans, you are tolerant of it and you are accepting it. That is the problem. You have to be able to call out your own team. And one of the statements that I keep saying lately, like when you lose as a team, when you lose to an opponent in sports, do you look at the opponent or do you look at your team? You look at your team. That's how you get better. That's how you do things. And that's why we look at the Republican Party and we're like, hey, we can do better. And if most of the gay community doesn't like what's being promoted, why aren't they saying it?
Yep. Your son has nothing to do with this conversation. You brought your son, and
You
I'm
know what?
not I'm not picking on you, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna
And-
call it out because people keep saying, well, my friend is gay. Well, my this. I have a trans family member. Okay. I don't talk to her. You know, we haven't talked in years. But even she wants to be a he now. I still refer to her as a she because that's what I've known her as my whole life. A she. She even says, yo, y'all are sick. You need to stop. So honestly, I don't really care about your son. I care about what the public is taking in. I care about what my children are being exposed to. Period. Point blank. I don't have this like soft spot in my heart or just like, no, wrong is wrong and right is right. And this group of people, these men, acquire, reached millions of people. So you should have no problem calling it out because wrong is wrong and right is right. There's only good and an evil that exists in this world. There is no gray area. I don't care how many times people say, there's a gray area with stuff. No, there's not. That's an excuse to make people feel better. This man is gay. Openly. Logan. Openly. And they are more vocal than heterosexual people who have gay people in their families. How absurd is that? And if you don't like it, look, I bid you farewell. I'm going to harp on it for a few more months, years.
It's progressing and getting worse.
Yeah. So I think one of the important parts, Amy, is to remember, and I'll touch on your comment because these people have achieved, in essence, they have received the same things that the minority communities were seeking during the civil rights movement, which is fair and equal treatment under the law. And the Supreme Court has upheld that. Where is it that they're not allowed to then push on us, right? Like, this is the question. They have the same rights. They have the same opportunities. Why do we need to keep going back to coddle this community unless it's because there is severe mental illness and they need to be treated for that? That's the question. Why do they need all of this attention, and why do they need all of these things in order to achieve what they have already achieved and it's been upheld by the Supreme Court? Like, where are we as a country if we keep looking back 10 years every time to like run? What are we doing? Are we just running up against the wall and saying, well, we still have this problem? Where does it exist? Where are these people discriminated against? I please, if you could help me understand, that would be great.
I dropped the link just for 10 minutes because we got to hop off here and I have an Instagram show to do. This is what I don't like. Nobody talked about her son. Nobody talked about her personally. Nobody said anything towards you. We're speaking about a certain demographic and you don't like it. So the best thing I can say for you is don't follow me, because you and nobody else is going to stop me from talking about what I want to be talking about. This is affecting my family. It's affecting my children. I mentioned earlier, I should not have to explain to my 9-year-old son why men walk around in beards, makeup, and heels. I shouldn't have to do that. I shouldn't have to be super sketchy about what my kids turn on a TV when they're watching a freaking cartoon. Cartoons. Can't watch Nickelodeon. Can't watch YouTube without a gay ad popping in. They are at an impressionable age, and we have every right as parents to step up and say, enough is enough. You have all the rights we have. If you don't like it, see it easy. Go. If you don't like it, you don't got to tune into us. If you don't like what I'm saying, I honestly don't care. I got into this because I want a better future for my kids. I got into this because I wanted to tell people the truth. People rock with it. Some people don't. And you know what? I'm not everybody's cup of tea, nor am I trying to be. But you're not going to get me to shut up because you don't like what I'm saying. That is, it's not going down that way. And yes, Disney Plus has a pride section.
The thing is we look at this situation.
Look, you're done, bro.
No,
because
no.
you're lying.
You're creating rumors and BS.
Exactly.
That is part of the problem. If someone cannot voice their opinion and where they stand, and you can politely disagree and just move on with your life, that is part of the problem. Like, don't bring Blake into this. Like, we all still have we still all have communications with Blake. We talk with him at times. Like, things have gone civil and just separately, politely gone our own way. There's nothing wrong with it. Don't try to create that divide. Don't try, and Amy, I'm going to call you out. That is what left does. That is what the left side does. And you claim to be a Trump supporter and an all-out right, like all-in conservative. Those type of statements is what the left does to create a bigger divide between people. You don't do that.
And you have never heard me say, I'm doing this to get back at Blake. Everybody on here has been on multiple shows. Casey watches every live that I do. You've never heard me say that. And this is somebody that supported me, bought a shirt. Everything I was saying before, you had no problem with. But now when it hits home, you have a problem. So I'm going to bid you farewell. You can go take this information back to Blake and Kaylee. I honestly don't give two shits. I've never hid how I felt about Blake. I've said it to him, to his face, on camera, multiple times. It has never been hidden. But you are not going to bully me into shutting up.
And it's not about Blake. And he knows that.
How many times have I said, Blake, you are Blake. You being gay does not define you. How many times? And it's actually sickening that I even have to sit here and address you.
Amy, you might as well just go and find something else to do on Saturday night. You just might as well. You're creating more problems than you are doing of any good. And trying to say all of this BS, and we're not going to do it, but we have messages and we have screenshots to prove you are incorrect.
Never dogged Blake, but it's okay.
You're wrong, Amy.
Goodbye.
Let's not acknowledge that situation again. It doesn't need to be done. But overall, like, that whole choir thing, in my opinion, is super creepy.
It is creepy.
I wouldn't show my kids that. And I'll let them go and do their thing. Like, sure, fine. It's your free speech to sing and speak and do whatever you want. But I will not support it. I will not go and promote it or show it to my kids. No. Like, not at all. That whole thing is just ridiculous. But this show is more about the thing Jenner from California. And we know what that person's doing. And that person is really a distraction from real votes in California.
Facts.
If anybody wants to fix California that is in there, that is capable of voting for California, you need to be looking at the other candidates and trying to figure it out. It was. Oh, we're going to let that be water under the bridge for this, because that one person just keeps going with it. But overall, what's going on in California, if you live there, pay attention to the other candidates. You're not going to see it on TV. You just won't. And that's what's happening right now. Fox News is even promoting similar stuff.
Facts, man. So, I told you. No, let me stop. Let me stop. We just have to do our due diligence as people. We can't let things like this keep sliding. You know, it may hurt people's feelings, but facts don't care about your feelings, bro. They don't care about your feelings. So if you want a future for your kids, you want a future for this country, and you believe in preserving American traditions, which is freedom of speech, freedom of thought, being able to come and thrive in a capitalist nation, being able to freely worship whoever you choose to worship, having an agenda, like being able to have a voice, then you would be on board with this. Because as we speak, we are being silenced. People don't want us talking about these things. And I'm sorry. I didn't get into this to appease the masses. I really didn't. Nobody comes out as a conservative with traditional values if they want some views and likes. No, they don't.
No, not at all. And I get why some people get sensitive when you're calling out something on their side, because they're like, hey, it's my team. I got to defend my team, right? Mm-hmm. But sometimes you got to look at that and just make sure there's the right decision being made. But I'm not in California. Eric is only in California, and I think he even leaves before he gets to vote.
Yeah, he's
on the recall. Sony's not in California. This is all just informational to give everybody the information of what's going on and expose the BS that's happening out there, even if it is on the Republican side.
Yeah. Facts. And I have to make this disclaimer because, you know, people are going to try to take this back and flip it. I did a live when Primetime Patriots decided to separate from me. And I said, I don't have problems with them. I never will. I still wear their merch. I still tell people to go support them. I don't have a problem with them.
Oh.
But I'm not going to shut up. And I'm sorry if you don't like it.
Well, it's not cool. Like, don't try to keep forcing that wedge. Like, I still have all of my PTP merch in my closet. Go back and look at some of the shows that we have done since this has happened. I wore it. I still wear it today. Today I'm wearing BTC stuff, but it's not. Don't force a wedge where it's not needed.
Right. Facts.
We're not about that.
Not at all. As you guys have a good one, if you want to tune in to some funny stuff, you can come over to IG. My name is Suni the Middle Child. I talk to liberals. I talk to Q-tards. I call them Q-tards because these people are absolutely insane. We have our Christian talks, or like me and Bryson will get on there and cut up. What have we been talking about? Literally everything lately.
And you want to know what's funny? Lately, since you started talking about the Republicans a little bit more and the Qs more on IG than we do here, and notice all of the crazy mob mentality. It's died down.
Yeah,
I don't see it on there anymore.
Nope.
I don't get tagged in 15 posts a day anymore.
Because they're like, you look, they have this impression of me because they don't watch my content. All you do is talk about black people. And I'm like,
Nope.
No, I don't. No, I don't. You don't ever call out your party. What? You clearly haven't been watching me. We'll get you on a show one day. We have fun on IG. Straight up. IG is fun. There's times where I get frustrated because of Mitch. Everybody knows Mitch. He came on True to Set You Free.
Mm-hmm.
He's been tagging me in a little bit of stuff.
I only got tagged in him a couple days ago. Tagged from him a couple days ago. And I'm like, all right, maybe this is done.
What does the spelling be?
Johnny is not. I can't. Johnny is no.
Casey doesn't like Johnny. He's not a fan.
No. Like, at least Mitch brings some facts. At least I can understand that. I hate his slight jabs, but I'll give him that room. But Johnny, it's like, dude.
Look, Johnny, look, we could be doing a show, or we could be just be sitting there talking, and Johnny has sent a request, and I'll be like, all right, let's bring Johnny out. Because Johnny's entertainment. Straight up. He's entertainment.
Agreed. And
the first thing he'll do is, I can't believe you guys are sitting here talking about this stuff. Sony.
His favorite word before he starts talking every time is, oh my God. He does that, and then he'll start with his speech, but he's like, oh my God.
Just roll his eyes.
And I say this, I'm not trying to be really shitting on them, but because they seem like decent people, but having these conversations with them, it's just difficult. It's really difficult.
Fun. You know, it is fun. And like I said, if you want to tune in, have a good laugh and see difference of opinions, we're all from like all over. Bryson is in Tennessee. I also do shows with Phil there in Cali. I've done a few lives with Corinne Tatum, Brandon Tatum.
Mm-hmm.
It's been fun. So tune in. We're going to have fun. I'm probably going to bring up Jenner because that's a big topic on Instagram right now. And look at the difference. There is a stark difference between Facebook and YouTube and Instagram. Stark difference. It's actually better. I like Instagram better. I'm not even going to cap.
I will agree with you. Like, there's been so many times I've been fighting that beast. Like, my wife would always be like, hey, why don't you use IG more? And I'm like, I don't care. I got Facebook. It's fine. And now I'm like, IG is like this weird little nagging thing that I'm like, yeah, let's go back. Let's go back.
Thank you for tuning in, guys. Please make sure you support. I was about to say Trump. Cash. I was literally about to say Trump. I don't know why. Anyways, please make sure you are supporting Cash. Keep him in your prayers. Let's help keep this YouTube active. If you have any recommendations of topics that you would like to hear me speak on, Casey, you want to hear our opinions, drop it in the comment section. We will do shows centered around that. Support the Hot Mic page. Just support us all over. Support Be the Change, Streetlights Unity Movement, and let's help make America think again. I'm going to have a special outro because the ending of this show just grinded my gears.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks. Don't mind me. I'ma just grab my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Nope. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Alright then. I don't know what the fuck just happened, but I don't really care.